with the testing procedure at the moment, and they're doing their best, I'm sure they are, but it has too many holes in it. One, they can only test for what they know. Let's say someone develops a new performance-enhancing drug, not using chemicals that they can detect, that's not going to pop. Secondly, it's random testing, so they can test you at any time, any given moment. If you're not home when they arrive, they give you a warning. Like, that's it, and you're allowed 2 a year. 2 warnings. If you're juicing, or if you're using any sort of PEDs, you get essentially 2 get out of jail free cards, which I think is ridiculous. And that's if you get tested. Remember, it's random. You might not be tested, because trust me, I've also noticed that I'm getting much more tested now than I was when I was first in the lower rankings of my thing. It wasn't until probably when I made like top 12, top 15 that I started getting tested at all. So there's that. That's crazy in itself. But then, for instance, like, which blew my mind was, we went to the fight and I got tested as soon as I walked in, and you don't always, but I did. After the fight, I went to the hospital to get my hand checked out. They didn't test us afterward because we had to go to the hospital. I don't know if that's a loophole, if they just missed it, but we're not.
YouTube, what's going on today, everybody? Back here with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be going over my opinion. Nothing I'm going to say will be cold, hard facts, because they haven't popped. But in my opinion, fighters that since 2015, July 2015, when USADA joined the UFC, that maybe their physique changed, performance, things of that nature. Nothing I'm gonna say is gonna be factual, again, because they did not pop. So if you are easily offended by someone's opinion, click off the video. And I'm gonna put Connor in the thumbnail, just for attention. Connor is not on this list. So let's get into it. So first, we have Anthony Pettis. Now with Anthony Pettis, 2 red flags against him: body type change and also performance change. Now Anthony Pettis, probably Chuck Liddell before Anthony Pettis, but Pettis is really one of the fighters that caught my eye, and I followed, looked up when his next fight was, things of that nature, when I started watching MMA. Still one of my favorite fighters to watch. Very happy I was wrong and he got that win. I guess it'll be on Saturday, so 2 days ago. But I mean, come on, look at the pictures here. Very lean. Anthony Pettis almost back years ago. Anthony Pettis almost looked like he could have made 145 with just being so lean. Now, no way he can make. We know there's no way he can make 145. Those are back when we wanted Pettis and Aldo, man. That super fight. That was a super fight back in the day. But yeah, just my opinion. So Anthony Pettis is going to be number 1 on the list. Next, Paulo Costa. I mean, come on. Come on, guys. Are you serious? This guy, and again, nothing I'm going to say is just backed with facts, but there's a reason there's not a lot of muscular fighters, or fighters with these big muscles in these bigger weight classes. With muscles, usually those guys just tire out. They can't last. With Paulo Costa, we haven't seen him go past round 2 in the UFC. So this is, again, just opinion. But for how much he comes forward, how much he strikes, how hard he strikes. Every strike is a hard shot. Tell me, in the Hendricks fight, the fight before the Hendricks fight, and the Uriah Hall fight that he just had, did that guy ever look like he was going to slow down? and stop pressuring these guys? The answer is no. He has these big muscles, like let's say someone like T Wood, someone like Yoel. Yoel's popped, so he won't be on the list. But guys with these muscles at some point tend to just slow down. It's just facts. Look, I mean, you can go to boxing as well. Anthony Joshua, these guys slow down. Paulo Costa, from what we've seen so far, he's slowing down. Now, I'm not, again, don't get it confused with I'm saying, oh, he has muscles, he's on something. No, not at all. That's kind of dumb for people to think just because somebody has muscles that they're on something. No, it's the fact that he has muscles and literally just plows through people without sweating is a red flag for me. Next, we have another Brazilian. Now, Andrade isn't as cut as, Costa. Well, of course not, but let's say Claudia. But she definitely is a ball of muscle, definitely. And this chick, it's weird. She's in that Joanna fight. I'm thinking like this. She's gonna slow down. This is a 5-round fight. She's not gonna slow down in 3-rounders, okay? But for 5 rounds, she's gonna slow down. She's gonna stop moving forward. Never did. Always throwing. Always moving. Just doing something. Picking girls up, throwing them over their heads. She's on. If she's not, let's say she's not. She still has the effects, because it's ridiculous. I've never seen a fighter with this muscle mass, especially for a female, just never slow down. Look again, Kalaja, for example. People think she's on something. I don't think Claudia's on something, because everything adds up. She's very muscular. She'll be done by round 2. if she's throwing a lot, you going for takedowns. Claudia's done by round 2. So it doesn't make sense for Andrade not to. Okay. Opinion. I just have to keep saying it. It's my opinion. This next one, I mean, come on. Next, Thiago Alves. Now, Alves is very up and down kind of fighter, but you wouldn't expect him to go from looking like that to now looking like somebody that needs to be fighting maybe at 145, man. Or he 155, but definitely not at welterweight. And I don't know if he dropped down. I know he was talking about dropping down, but you're dropping down at, how many fights? 20 fights? 20 fights in, I want to say, just around there. Yeah, come on. So he's definitely on something, or was on something, I should say. Next, we have Jose Aldo. Now, in 2015, we know he got knocked out very fast against Conor. Body looked okay then. UFC 200, his body looked a bit softer in that fight versus Frankie. He really didn't overexert himself in those 3 rounds. He was just really staying on his jab and keeping Frankie away from him. So he didn't really have to do anything special in that fight. Now, the next 2 fights versus Holloway, he was boxing more, throwing combinations, and the guy was dead by round 2 in both fights. And I think he was finished in round 3. He was finished in round 3 of both fights. So, Aldo, and in those 2 fights, his body was back to normal. He's very lean. But Aldo, you've never. I mean, when I've seen him, he's never looked like that. You know, he's never been dead by round 3. You know, beating up Uriah Faber, Chad Mendez. It's never looked like that. But again, maybe he's not. Everything I said, opinionated. So take it with a grain of salt. If you're easily offended, hopefully you are not still here. But yeah, nothing I said there with any of those fighters is factual. Maybe besides muscle, because people with muscles don't tend to, with bigger muscles. I don't want to say. See, people get big muscles mixed up. Somebody, like, let's say Robbie Lawler has muscle mass. You know, he doesn't have overly large muscles. Now, back in the day, yeah, Robbie was jacked. Robbie Lawler doesn't have overly large muscles. Who else? Francis has some big. Francis is a big dude. Francis, he's got that bodybuilder type build, and Francis gas is out. I'm trying to think. With the lower guys, I mean, there's no lower guy that's just out there just yoked up like that. You know, TJ is nice and lean. Oh my God, that sounded weird. But TJ's lean. Connor's lean. Like, there's a lot of lean fighters. They don't have overly large muscles. Don't get it confused. They're just very lean. But yeah, that's my opinion. You can have yours if you think maybe I missed somebody. If you think I'm just crazy, I'm a hater, let me know in the comments. But I'm out. Peace.